while I'm struggling.
Hey, if you got this part of the video, you've caught the live unedited edition. Home Gadget Geeks Thursday night. It's the 21st of August, 2025. If you caught this any other time than 8 p.m. in the Central Time Zone, a little mix up tonight between Jay and I on the start time. It's okay, 8 p.m. Back to the old start time. You caught the recorded version. Hang tight. I had some folks, Justin, Brian, Kevin, show up early. Thank you guys, Ken as well, for coming early. Thanks for coming back. If you did, I saw Justin checking in the chat room. Justin, thanks for coming in. Looks like Jay's trying to get his makers open there. Jay, is it?
Oh, good.
You got it open?
I did, yes, sir.
All right. Yeah. Show the bottle. You still got the little shooter there. Here's the pour portion of it. Jay's picked up a little maker's mark. It cracks me up that they also do those. They dip in the red candle wax. They've done that for 1,000 years, kind of thing. 750s and 1.75s are all dipped. That looks like apparently the shooters are as well. Dipping for a shooter seems like a little bit of a waste.
Little overkill.
Don't you think? It's a good weeded bourbon. We always keep bourbon on, I was going to say on tap. That's not really a thing here, but we've in the upstairs pantry is the dailies, as we call them. And so we keep, makers kind of is the one that's there. It's the house. It's for the house, right? You don't have to come down here to get it, kind of thing. So it's a pretty good. Obviously, either you like it or you just had one laying around.
I had samples, like hundreds of samples.
Oh.
Again, being in Kentucky, we have a wide range of options.
Yeah, you do.
So I bought this 100 bottle sampler.
Oh, wow.
And this is just the one
It's a good way to do it. It's kind of a good way to do it if you can get a good price on them. And I mean, if you multiply out the price of a shooter to a 750, they're like $1 million. But it's a nice way to. I may go back to, I've got this whole, I've acquired over the last 5 years a whole bunch of whiskey, and I was looking at the other day. I think I'm just going to drink this and not replace it, and then I just may go back to a shooter here and there, maybe 1 or 2 bottles. I just don't need to keep them all. I don't know. Maybe I'm turning into a millennial. They're saying the millennials aren't drinking as much as they used to, but I don't know. Anyways, now that I say that, on the other hand, I have a Russell's 10-year here, and as you can see from the back, there's not very much in there, so this may get finished.
Yeah, I was gonna say it might not even make it through the night.
Yeah, no, it may not.
Let me tell you, that sampler
earlier,
that's a box of the 100 bottles.
Yeah,
that was worth it because it had. Being in Kentucky, we have every distillery around here.
Yeah.
So it gave me an opportunity to try each and every one of them without having to go buy bottles.
For sure.
And then Maker's Mark has been sitting in there because, well, I know what that's like.
Yeah.
So that's like one of the last ones to grab.
Yeah. Did it come with any Willet, or did you get any? Is there any stag in there?
It came with Woodford Reserve, Buffalo Trace, Bullet.
Yeah.
Heaven. What's it?
Heaven Hill.
Heaven Hill. Thank you.
Heaven Hill.
Yeah.
I've been
and Jim Beam and a handful of Jim Beam flavors.
Yeah. Well, Jim Beam and Jack all have those flavors. They're Jim Beam, or the Jim Beam orange is really good. Like,
who has the good flavors was what is the, oh mercy me, I brought something up to tell you and now I don't know what it is. I'll think of it in a minute.
Flavors? Yeah, it'll come back to you. Yeah, the Jim Beam orange is a really good. It's a pretty good little sipper. It's good with the friends. Like if your friends aren't into whiskey, the orange is, like I said, and it's fairly inexpensive, so it's not a bad way to, and they're pretty light. So
I like the vanilla and the apple. The apple is good.
Justin says probably the only. Let me get the chat room open here. Jim, he says probably the only good Jim. Jim, nice. That is maybe. I have been liking Evan Williams. That's
the part one. Of the Thank you. Well. There you
Evan
go.
Williams, yeah.
Evan Williams makes the great apple and vanilla.
Yeah. They do. And in fact, at Christmas time, that's a good time to pick up some of these. I get their bottled in bond, so 100 proof for my old fashioned base.
Oh yeah.
So that makes up kind of the base, and then I add some Balcones, which is Texas whiskey. Had a little benchmark 125, so 125 proof, so a little bit of a punch, but not. I mean, I don't. It's just it's a quarter of it, but that benchmark is the same distillate as the Buffalo Trace, so you're getting a similar product there. Mash bill, same mash bill.
Buffalo
So-
Trace, I've mentioned before, is like shares the parking lot to my office. I mean,
Yeah,
it's right there.
that is crazy. Yeah.
But
They
the
flooded, right?
yes.
Were you? Yeah.
Oh yeah, we weren't flooded.
Did that
because
affect you?
we're up on the hill next to it, so we
Okay.
didn't get flooded.
They probably
But-
should be too up on a hill.
Yeah, they got flooded bad. I mean,
Yeah.
pictures
there was
look
bottles, or there were barrels around.
floating.
Yeah.
Yes, but Woodford Reserve is down the road, and I've actually grown a little bit more favored to the Woodford Reserve, the double oak and everything.
Mhm.
I like that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another good one here too. There's Boone County Distillery,
Mhm.
and I went on a tour, not thinking anything of it. Went on the tour, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty good." And this one's pretty good too. And then they had a cream, and I was like, "Oh, that's dangerous."
Yeah.
Now we're into the danger zone because I could drink that whole bottle.
Yes. Yeah.
No, but it was
they've
really
taken
good.
a page out of Bailey's, right? I mean,
Yeah.
So you get these whiskey creams, and on a Sunday morning, a little bit of coffee and in a whiskey cream, maybe a cigar, pretty good. Like that's a nice Sunday morning.
I went to the Bourbon Festival, and one of the vendors was set up, and they had like a variety of everything, but one of the ones they had was the orange creamsicle.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, I'll try that. And as soon as I tried it, I'm like, I'll take a bottle of that. I mean, it was that good. And I mean, it was good, but it was moonshine. It was dangerous.
For sure. Yeah.
But it was good.
Our whiskey festival is coming up October, I'm going to say mid-October. Tickets are $100, and you don't get any bottles for that. It's all tasting. It's 3.5 or 4 hours or something like that. And I don't know. I'm having a hard time pulling the trigger on it. I just don't. I was like, oh, I don't know. That could be. I probably have to get a room up there,
Right,
for sure, or have Sarah come pick me up. One of the two. I don't know. I don't. I'm going back and forth. I'm kind of like, I want to be there.
$100 is
don't
steep.
be there. Yeah, and then you get unlimited pours, and there's like, I don't know, 75. There's like 75 vendors there. So, but after a while, when you taste whiskey that way, it all starts tasting the same.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
It's like a beer fest.
Yeah, once you sample a few things, and all of a sudden it's like, well, it's pretty much the same at this point.
Yeah, no, you're kind of like, So Brian, thanks for checking in. Good to see you. Justin says if he ever makes it to Kentucky, his liver's gonna hate me. So
make it to Kentucky. I'll show you around.
Yeah, we're gonna get down. I'm gonna get down there some point. I need to do a guys trip with my boys, and I'll figure that one out. So it'd be good to come down. All right, let's do this thing. Brian and Justin, thanks and I saw Schoonover out there a little bit earlier. He said he may come back, but thanks for coming back. My bad. Ken was out a little bit earlier, but let me kick this thing off, and we'll do some chatting. Here we go. This is the Average Guy Network, and you have found Home Gadget Geeks, show number 656 with guest Jay Franze, recorded on August 21st, 2025. Here on Home Gadget Geeks, we cover all the favorite tech gadgets that find their way into your home, news reviews, product updates, and conversation, all for the average tech guy. I'm your host, Jim Collison, broadcasting live from the AverageGuy.tv studios here in a beautiful Bellevue, Nebraska. Not really. It's been super hot. Jay, is Kentucky been like unreasonable? I think it'd have to be, right?
Unbearable. And it's not the temperature as much as it is the humidity. I know everybody will say that, but it has been miserable. Like you go outside And as soon as 5 seconds after being outside, you need to
Oh
take a
yeah,
shower again.
you're just sweating. I hate it.
Oh,
I hate it. Now, let's see. You're in Kentucky. There's lots of good lakes and rivers and streams to get in. Nebraska, not so much. Does everybody get out to the lake in this kind of
yeah. It's
weather?
my kid's birthday was 2 weeks ago, and I took her to the beach. And she's like, "What do you mean the beach? We live in Kentucky." But there's a beach just over the border in Ohio that it's a giant lake, but it's got the sand. And I mean, if you didn't know any better, you would assume you were on an ocean.
Yeah,
It's pretty
yeah.
cool. And there's, I mean, jet
Some good.
skis and boats
Yep.
flying around. And
Ohio's got some good outdoor. Like they are good at outdoor stuff. It seems like in Ohio. I think Kentucky as well.
yeah,
But yeah, well,
Kentucky, a
I,
lot of rivers.
yeah, no, for sure. A lot of hollers.
Yeah,
Get back
a
in the
lot of
hollers.
hollers.
A
Yeah,
lot of hollers. Get back in the hollers. Well, we'll post a
a lot
show
of
with some world
caves.
class show. There are a lot of caves in there. Yeah, for sure. We'll post a show with some world class show notes out at theaverageguy.tv. Speaking of caves, but not really. Big thanks to our Patreon subscribers. Appreciate you guys each and every month. We have just one plan, $5 if you want to jump in there and help support the show, helps pay for some things. And appreciate that you giving back. If you want to do it, theaverageguy.tv/Patreon. Honestly, the easiest way to do it, head out to theaverageguy.tv before you purchase on Amazon. I have a link there. You can click through. The network gets credit for it. And many of you did that during Prime Days. So thank you for doing that. As I saw those purchases come through, I was like, why July? Oh, yeah, Prime Days was there. Although Amazon does those tricky things, Jay, like I'm still seeing Prime deals. Like in the, I'm not sure it ever ends.
No, there's always something.
Yeah. Well, it's actually helped right now. We're going to talk about this here in a little bit, but there's good deals on solar generators. And as I've been talking about my solar, I'll give a quick update here a little bit later on solar generators. Now is a good time to buy. There's some good prices. By the way, on Amazon, don't always believe the first price you get. Look around for that product on another SKU somewhere. Could be cheaper. Anyways, big thanks to Aaron Lawrence. Joined me last week, 2 weeks ago. I took last week off. We had a Japanese exchange student here, high schooler. Miyu was here, and we'll talk about that as well. But big thanks for giving me the week off, and thanks to Aaron who came on. If you haven't listened to that, 655, and go back and get it done as well. Jay Franze is back with me. Jay, it's been way too long. How are you, man? Good to see you.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, great.
I always enjoy coming here.
How's the podcast?
Podcast is going very well. My new co-host has been very helpful, brings a whole different viewpoint to things. So
what are you talking about mostly?
We do primarily country music, news, reviews, and interviews. So the news portion obviously is just whatever's going on in the industry for that week. And then the reviews, if we find an artist or a song, something that we're going to review for that week. But then there's interviews, which is the people that I've worked with in the past or people that have come through PR firms. So we get to talk to some amazing people that everybody would know. And then we get to talk to some up and coming people that people might not know. For example, the episode that's out now is Billie Joe Jones. And Billie Joe Jones, amazing country singer. She's fabulous. But nobody would probably know who she is, but she's been on The Voice, American Idol, and a few, 2 other country shows like that. So she's definitely got a small following. When I say small, for the country world, she's small. For us, it's probably huge.
Yeah.
But
she probably sings to more people on a weekend than we
Right.
get downloads on the podcast.
For the year. Yeah.
Right. No,
But still,
good stuff.
it's great.
Yeah. Available, Jay Franze, all one word, Franze, by the way, jfranze.com. If you want to check that out. Speaking of jfranze.com, rumor has it you have a new book. Does Jay Franze write books too? What else? What don't you do, Jay?
Going to be very, very nice right now. Yes. My wife would probably have some suggestions.
Oh, okay.
However,
that's true. That's probably true.
Yes. Book number 5 has been released today.
Nice.
Yes.
I didn't realize you had written that many books. Congratulations on the 5th. Like, why do you keep punishing yourself by writing a book? Like, their work.
I feel like, to me, the books open up doors more than they do,
Yeah. Yeah.
less than trying to get people to buy my book. It's the doors that the books open that really help me. So the first time I was teaching at a college in Nashville, I was teaching audio engineering, which is the process of recording the audio for the recording artists. And I would get work and everything was great and things were fine. But I wrote a book. I had notes that I've took to use the software. The industry standard software is called Pro Tools. And I just, any note, any trick, anything I could find, I just jotted down in a 3-ring binder. And it was a 3-inch 3-ring binder. And everybody just kept asking me if they could borrow it. And finally someone says, why don't you just turn it into a book? And I was like, yeah, okay. But I did. I turned it into a book. And from that point forward, life changed. And when I say that, I mean, the school looked at me differently as a teacher at that school. The students looked at me differently, and the artists and people that I went to work with, the producers and that I would go to work with in the studio, had my book on their bookshelf, and it started to make a big difference on the work I was getting. And I realized at that point that the book does give a lot of credibility.
Yeah, in the coaching space that I help manage for Gallup, all the coaches want to write books. That's their ticket to coaching. Well, in some of the work that they're doing. When you think about, I went on Amazon. I saw a couple of your books here, Leadership, that you wrote back in 2018, The Ideas of Leadership, 22. I'm assuming a follow up to the 2018 tome of Leadership, The Ideas of Leadership in 2021. Just a couple of them. What was your first book?
Pro Tools A to Z.
Okay, yeah. So Pro Tools A to Z, all about Pro Tools. Does it hold up today, do you think?
No,
Okay.
not at all. If you think about it, the book, I'm the first to admit it, don't buy the book.
No, it's great. It's awesome. I know. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah.
I will tell you, it was written when version 5 of the software was out. Yeah. And that was a long time ago. So that software, if they still gave it a number, would be on probably version 25.
Yeah. Did you do podcast? You weren't podcasting. What year did that come out, do you think?
2007, I would say. 2000.
Pretty early.
Maybe 2003, maybe.
Okay, pretty early. So no podcasting yet around.
No, we started doing podcasting very early, probably as a school, very early, not myself.
Yeah.
As a school, we started doing it very early because we had a deal with Apple. And Apple provided our students with laptops and iPods. So like everybody else, we got an iPod, and they were telling us that, hey, we're putting this feature in here and for podcasts. So we didn't know what a podcast was at the time. So what we did was we were bringing in guest speakers. And so say we would bring Bob Bullock, who's the producer that I worked for. We would bring him in, he would speak to the students, but then it would sit down and be like a coffee session where I would interview him. And the next person that would come in, I would interview that person. And then they started releasing those as podcasts. So I had no idea at that time what was going on. Mm-hmm. But now I look back at it, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And it was a kind of cool thing.
When I invited you, you're a regular. For new listeners, you're a regular out here. I've had you on dozens of podcasts so far. I didn't know you'd written a new book. So this isn't you reaching out to me saying, hey, can I promote my new book? But you're here. So show me your new book. What do you got? Show it there and tell me a little bit about it.
This is the new book. It's called Stand Out or Fade Out. I say new. I mean, this is literally the proof copy. So it came in the mail today. So it was approved. Everything in it meets what the publisher said it would and all that stuff. So it's here. It's available. It just came out literally, like I said, today. So I'm very excited. I'm not necessarily expecting people to. I'm not here to pimp the book.
No, we didn't. So. But it's exciting. Listen, it's a lot of work to put one of those together. And you think,
Yeah.
and in the world of AI, right now, all of a sudden everybody's like, I'll just have AI write the book.
Yeah. 5 minutes.
Hey, newsflash, that's still a lot of work. Like still got to read the whole thing. You got to check it. It's going to go to an editor. The editor's going to change stuff. Like you're going to go back and forth. It's going to make stuff up. You're going to have, so there is still a ton of work that goes in. I'm assuming by the title, it's about is it about influencers? Is it about just give us a little summary of
Yeah, absolutely.
what it's about.
The subtitle on there is Strategies for Standing Out in Nashville.
Oh, okay.
So the
Nice.
majority of my career was in Nashville. So I worked as an audio engineer, and I actually had an opportunity to produce a few projects. But I started in Boston, went to New York, and then spent the majority of the time in Nashville. So I grew an appreciation for country music, and I grew an appreciation for the industry itself. It's like any other industry. It's like podcasting. We start doing it, and then we start learning about it, and then we want to be part of it, and then you're part of that community. So what I was doing is networking and working with these producers, and I realized, okay, like I mentioned before, the first book, it earned me a lot of credibility. And I realized, okay, well, that made me stand out a little bit more than the other engineers in the field at that time. And then other things that I did along the way made me stand out or helped me, progress. I didn't really know what I was doing at the time. It wasn't like those things were planned. It wasn't a strategy. But now, if I had to do it all over again, it would be a strategy. And that's what the book is about. It's giving other people, artists and engineers, producers, a strategy to succeed.
What made you want to? Certainly you had these thoughts in your head, and you wanted to get them out. Is it really that simple? Like, hey, I know all this stuff. I'm in all this stuff. Because listen, there isn't always a lot of in writing a book. There isn't always a lot of payoff for it. It's not like
No payoff.
it's going to be a New York Times bestseller, right? Sorry, I don't mean to sound sarcastic about that.
No,
but
I'm with you.
It's a niche book, right? It's for artists coming to Nashville. You're in that area. You've produced for them in the past. You got some knowledge on that. I'm assuming you've just got some things with singers and songwriters and musicians, because they all come to Nashville to make it big. It's like
Guitar and a dream.
No, right on. Well, I have a family friend that's trying to do that right now. They moved to Nashville. She is trying to make it big. Her parents moved with her to Nashville to help her get launched in this thing. She's singing everywhere she can, right?
Absolutely.
It's treasury. With this book, do you think this book would, like, for the average person coming to Nashville trying to make it, or would it even apply to anybody, do you think, that's trying to to be like, man, I'm trying to make it in this world of entertainment or whatever?
Yeah, I would say that the book would apply to anybody in any industry, because the principles of branding and development strategies are the same no matter what you do. The difference in what makes it specific for Nashville for me was I took actual stories that I've either been through myself or that I've witnessed the artists going through when we were in the studio or with record labels. And it's those stories that are in the book. So if you were, executive at a corporation, the principles still apply. So you could open it up, you could follow along with the format. The difference is when you're reading the story, you're going to hear a music related story.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what happens. And you asked earlier the driver, what made me do it or what made me want to do it. And I've been interviewing artists and a lot of up and coming artists over the past several years now. And at the end of, or at the beginning of the conversation, it always starts off, they don't typically know me and I don't typically know them, because they're coming from a PR firm, and the PR firm is just trying to get their artists out in front of as many people as they can.
Mm-hmm.
So we've developed a good relationship with the PR firms, and they have direct access to the booking link. They don't even ask permission. They just go on there and book artists. That's great. However, for me, I don't know the artists either, so it requires a lot of research for me to go in and figure out who I'm talking to that night. But what ends up happening is during the conversation, even a lot of the known artists will come on the show and they're used to being interviewed. So they go through a lot of interviews, and I think they get asked the same questions a lot. And it's just the standard things we talk about in the podcasting world. When you're doing interviews, don't ask basic questions. So I try to find a question to start the interview off that shows that it's going to be different than any other interview they've done. And then the fact that it's long format allows me to get into that a little bit more. And usually by the end of it, whether it's through the discussion, we find out we used to work with the same people, or we used to work out of the same studio, or we've done something. There's some sort of connection that we've made. At the end of the show, when we sign off, I get asked a lot of questions. How did you do this? How did we do that? Do you have any recommendations for me to get in touch with this person? And hundreds of interviews later, I'm like, okay, I could do this. I'll just go ahead and jot it down.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Yeah. Well, that's good. No, congrats. Good on you for getting that done. Between your books of, let's just say 05 or whenever it was, beginning of the 21st century, and today, technology wise, easier to write a book today based on writing tools and AI. And I mean, just the physical work in writing a book, thoughts between those, the first and the fifth?
Well, yes, hands down, I think it's easier today, but I don't know if that's because I've been through it or because of technology. I would say it's both. But the first book, I remember I wrote it when my mother was sick. I had to go and take care of my mother. Long story short, she was in need of a double lung transplant, and I went home to take care of her until that transplant came into play.
That's serious. Yeah.
So when I was there, I remember we would sit down every night to watch TV, watch her stories, whatever those would be, whether it be General Hospital or those type of things. We'd sit down and we'd watch those. And while she was doing that, I had my laptop on my lap and I would just write a book. I had no idea what I was doing. None whatsoever. Nothing. I just had that 3-ring binder of notes. I just typed them out, try to organize my thoughts and put them together, take screenshots from the software, put it in there. And it became a pretty thick book because I had a lot of screenshots, not because of the text.
Right.
But it worked. And people liked it. And a lot of other colleges, not the one that I was teaching at, but a lot of the other colleges bought it for their textbook and put it in their library. Mine did not. Go figure. So
things are crazy that
thank
way.
You to them.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. It's been a lot of years. You've obviously recovered since
but
then.
Yeah,
so. You weren't a professor at that time, so you couldn't mandate it for the class you were teaching. A lot of professors do that, right? Write their own books
and at the time, I didn't know anything about the publishing world. I didn't know how to get a publishing deal. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
So I started asking people, and they all said, no. I was like, okay, fine. So I looked into self-publishing, and I figured it out pretty quick. It's technology, right? So it's just computer stuff. You just figure out what they're asking for, the formats they want, how they want it laid out, the artwork and everything. So I did it. And I released it. And then the very first college, it was a college out of Canada, requested 1,000 books right out of the gate for their students to use as textbooks.
Okay.
And instantly the phone rings from a publishing company saying, we've changed our mind. We think we can go ahead and do something here. And at that point I was like, what different? It's too late.
Yeah.
What you were going to do for me has already been done.
Yeah.
So
that first self-published book probably did pretty, since you self-published it, and if you sold to a couple of universities, it did pretty well for you, I would assume.
Yeah, the first one by far did the best, and that's solely because colleges used it as a textbook. If that didn't happen, it wouldn't have sold.
Yeah,
it's just the same as all the others.
Well, it's a niche, right? Right place, right time. There's a little luck.
I definitely
somebody picked it up. Yeah, no, good. No,
it was the credibility piece that I was looking for, or I didn't realize I was looking for, but that's what I got out of it.
Yeah,
and that's what I enjoyed from it. The rest of it was just gravy. But you mentioned earlier not becoming, wealthy off of it, and you're not going to. And I'll tell you, I'll be the first one to tell you, you buy that book on Amazon or any other of those services like that, make $1.
Yeah.
The first book I make 3. So there you go. I live
Okay.
large. But the
You're
new
like,
book,
just the money was just flowing.
this
Right?
book right here, you
Yeah.
buy it on Amazon, $1 comes to me.
$1. Okay.
So, and it sells for $20.
On your, if they buy it on your website, do you get more? Do you get to keep
Yes.
more? Okay.
Yeah.
So jfranze.com.
If you
think
buy it
can
off the
buy that.
website, and again, not asking people to do that.
No,
I'm
for
just
sure.
telling
I
you,
just want to. I had no idea. Listen, up until about 30 minutes ago,
we didn't
I
know
didn't
it
even know
existed.
you had written a book. Yeah,
The
you
only
just
reason is it came in the mail as we're walking down here.
Yeah, well, you and I were talking pre-show, and I was like, "What's new?" And you're like, "Hey, my new book came," and I'm like, "You wrote a book? Let's talk about this. This is awesome." So
But
super
to
cool.
tell you the difference, that book, it sells for $20. If you buy it on Amazon, between them and the distribution company, I get $1. If you buy it straight from the website, so you bypass Amazon, I make $10.
Oh, okay.
So that shows
Yeah.
you the cut
Shows you the
that
Amazon
Amazon
cut, right?
takes.
Yeah, yeah. No, the book industry is a tough one, and most authors never even see a profit out of their book. And if you count all the time that you took, if you took all the time and multiplied it times an annual, times a hourly salary, you'd be in debt, right, by the time it gets published. So yeah, it's a tough space. There's a lot of value, though. I'll never write one, but there's a lot of value, and I just don't have the desire. Everybody's like,
Right.
"You're going to write a book?" And I'd have, in the 10 years I've been podcasting for Gallup, and then for the 14 years, or we're coming up on 15 this December, I've had some, like you, I've had some interesting interviews. I've learned a lot about podcasting. I'm learning a lot about people. I could write a book about it. I just don't want to. I just prefer to do this. This is my favorite. I'm going to just keep making these. This is my
Yeah.
favorite thing to do.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
That's what I enjoy the most. My show, that's what I enjoy the most.
Yeah.
Getting on
No,
here
right
and
on.
talking like this is much better
Yeah.
to me than writing that book. The benefit of the book or stuff for me is I go to a lot of music related conventions. Like I just got back from CMA Fest about a month or so ago. And CMA Fest is, if you're not familiar, it's a gathering in Nashville where fans come to meet their artists and then see them perform. So they get to walk from booth to booth to booth and get autographs and take pictures with the artists that they like. Well, one of the booths that gets set up is one for my show where you can walk by and you can, we'll interview somebody live at the booth and that type of stuff. So having that book there will help in the future, but it
Yeah.
also gets me speaking gigs at the music related colleges.
Yeah.
So I get to go to the college and it's credibility to get me in the door to speak to people.
Do you have a publisher? Not a publisher. Do you have a publicist that does that for you, that gets you, or are you your own? Do you schedule your own stuff? Do they contact you directly? How does that work?
No, I do everything myself. I have in the past used a publicist when I was doing the music career, like doing the actual engineering work.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing the engineering work, what they don't tell you when you're in school is you're only going to work maybe, 3-4 sessions a month. And those sessions may be a couple days each, but it's only a few a month. If you added it up, it's only going to be 1 week's worth of work. So you spend your entire time hunting for the next job. So if you get somebody to assist you in that process, which most people don't do, but if that's one of the little tricks you could learn is get somebody else to do it for you. Pay them the fee because it's worth it, because then you're working every day. And yeah, why not it's like anything else, give a cut of your money away, but by doing that, you're getting more work.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, congrats and good work on that. It's a lot of work, and I just for folks I know that have done that, it's a labor of love. I hope it is very successful, and I hope for the folks that read it, they are successful in Nashville. That's it's a unique it's a unique place, and I've never made it down there. I need to do a Nashville trip.
Nashville's the place to go if you're doing a bachelorette party.
Yeah.
Bachelorette capital of the world.
That's what I've heard. All right, let's talk tech.
Yes.
Jay, you had mentioned to me in the pre-show you're in the market for a new computer.
I am, sir.
That's an interesting thing because 20 years ago, 15 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, the computer purchase for a family, for an individual was a big deal. And now I think for most people, they are issued or they have a computer at work. And what we're seeing from the trends, I mean, certainly there is a certain number of, Microsoft keeps track of Windows installations around the world, and I think it's in the billions, basically. But I think most people these days, for the most part, if they're lucky, they've got one computer. I think they're doing a lot of stuff either at work or on their phones. And I don't think we're doing as much now for this audience. That's we have multiple computers, but I just kind of feel like there's a general overall trend where we're getting away from that for the most part. College students might be a little bit different. They'll keep their college computer when they get out, but then they're going to get issued one when they get to work. You're in the process of trying to decide between a Mac Pro, a Mac Mini, and a Mac Studio. Why are you getting a new computer now? Like, what's going on?
All right. Well, within arm's reach, I probably got four. Like you said, I've got my work
Yeah, we all
laptop
do.
right
This is
here. I've got
this audience. I have
right.
7, but yes, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and if we talked iPhones and iPads and every other device, my room is full. So I'm very grateful to have the Mac family of items. However, I have a currently for my music production computer, which is the one that's sitting here in front of me. That's a Mac Mini. It's an old Mac Mini, 2019. So it is still doing the work. However, I'm just now starting to notice limitations when it comes to like I can't upgrade the software anymore because the operating system isn't high enough. Now I could upgrade the operating system, but I'm afraid that the computer's not powerful enough for the latest operating system. So, and then if I do the latest Pro Tools software and plugins and everything that goes along with it, I might be putting too much stress on that computer. But even things like Google Chrome is limited. I can't upgrade that anymore. So that production computer, in my opinion, I either have to run the risk of overtaxing it, or I have to get a new one. So that's what I'm thinking about there. Then my personal computer is the laptop that I use for all of the business related things.
That's a Mac
That's a
or it's
MacBook
Apple.
Pro.
Okay, it's a Pro.
And that is also old. However, it's still functioning. And I did upgrade the operating system because I don't have anything that's going to tax it too much on that computer. And it seems to be running fine. So my thought is I've never used the same computer for both. And if I did, it would have to be the laptop because I need it to be mobile. And I've always kept the production computer separate because there's not even a file on the computer. It has external hard drives.
Right.
Everything is so the computer is strictly production based only.
Yeah. Are you doing heavy, intense processing? I mean, audio. Are you still doing audio editing? Or are you doing
Yeah.
that kind of stuff? Still, are you doing video?
No, I thought I was going to, and I did a few videos just to try it out, but no, I didn't like doing that on
Yeah.
the audio production computer.
So the Pro is probably out for you. I mean, yes. I mean, if you if you just want to buy the Mac Mini and send me the difference between that and the studio, you're welcome to. If you want to spend the money on the studio, why would you go as powerful as a well, let me think, as the Pro, the Mac Pro,
I wouldn't go with the Mac Pro.
MacBook
The
Pro?
MacBook Pro.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
MacBook Pro, Mac Mini, or Mac Studio.
Okay. So why wouldn't you just go with replacing the Mini and go with an M4, and you probably are set at that point. I think maybe one of the best price points.
Yeah, I noticed the price point's pretty good. My only concern, and you would know better than I, is the lifespan of it.
Oh.
If I invest in the Mac Studio versus the Mac Mini, will I get more life out of it?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know if I know the answer to that one based on like the M4, just came out, and so I don't know if we know. the longevity of that chip and you're not talking about it wearing out, you're talking about it being relevant to the
Right.
software,
Software
right?
upgrades.
Yeah. I think I feel like the M1 was a great improvement over everything else, but the M4 came along pretty fast, and I think, man, I tell you what, I have loved my mini M4. Like it continues to amaze me. Let me give you an example. So I run some AI agents locally. So I have a pretty powerful Windows computer. It's got a RTX 3060 on it, which isn't the most powerful gaming, GPU in the space, but it's still pretty good. It's got a Ryzen 7, I think Ryzen 7, Ryzen 5, maybe it's a 5 in it. Not bad. Again, not the most powerful, but not bad. Pretty good for on the Windows side of things. And I loaded the newest, and then I've got the Mac Mini M4, and I loaded the newest. OpenAI just released a 20 billion open source AI model that you can download. It's 20 gig, so it's pretty big. And I put it on the Windows side of things, and I was like, yeah, this isn't going to run. Like I'd ask it a question, and it would now, it was assigned to the video card, so it was using the video card to make it work. Um, it struggled. I brought it on the M4, didn't even blink. Like it just was like, yeah, ready to go on this kind of thing. Now I have 128 gig of RAM on the and a dedicated video 8 gig graphics video card on the Windows box. The M4, I think I have 24 gig of RAM or 32, maybe about the 32 gig RAM on this thing. I have to go back and look. It's funny how that stuff escapes you. I just bought this thing pretty recently, but it moves away from you. It's not the top of the top, but I've really liked the M4 as just from a rig of just doing, I think, what you're going to be doing with it. I think it's going to be fine. I think you're going to get 10 years of use out of it, to be honest.
That's the no problem. This one,
Oh, hold on, Jay.
it's
I'm losing you bandwidth wise. Is that me or is that you? Do you see me okay?
I can see it fine. Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's give it a second. Chat room. Are you guys seeing me okay? Is it me? Is it Jay? We'll give you a second to catch up here. I can always edit this part out. You're seeing and hearing me okay though?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, you were okay. Give me your thoughts on that again.
I don't know which thought I was giving you.
Oh, so it's the last thing I
10
mentioned
years.
is 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So the computer I have now, I think I bought it in 19. I think it was 18 or 19. So I've had a fairly good run on it because I didn't buy the new one at the time. So it was probably one of the ones that were on its way out. And I just bought it because it was supposed to be a second production system, not the main one. Ended up being the main one. So I think I've gotten pretty good life out of it. Like I said, it still works now.
Yeah.
However, like I said, there are starting to be some limitations to it.
Best price point, the mini M4. Like I think, and then there's tons of docks for it. Like everybody's making accessories for the M4 mini. And I think it's just the workhorse of the Mac family. That's all I'd ever recommend. Now I'd max it out. Like, well, okay. The 2 gig model, the 2 terabyte model, you are definitely you're paying the Apple tax. Like I think I might go with 1 terabyte. You don't store anything locally anyways.
No, not a
So
thing.
the 1 terabyte, I would max out the memory on it. So get as much as you can possibly get at the time you buy it. It's one of the things I learned by building computers. When I built the Windows computer, 128 gig was what I could get in there. That's what I was going to get. And so I just, I'd make sure I get it all in that time. Yeah, I think you'd be fine. Terabyte and 32 gig is probably the highest you can get right now. I don't know. I'd have to go out and price it. But yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about that?
No, that would be fine. Does the old docking station work with the new system? I mean, I'm sure it
D-
works with it, but
it
does it same
depends on what
size
the
and
old
stuff?
one was and the size of it and some of those things. I mean, they've changed a few things in the size and on the Mac Mini, the M4, the power buttons now underneath the bottom on the upper hand, out on the upper side, right? So, yeah,
So the computer's the docking station.
yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know what you have there,
I
but
have the one I have looks identical to the Mac Mini, and the
yeah,
Mac Mini just sits on top of it.
it's the first version of the Mini or the original Mini. Is it the
Yeah,
Intel Mini or is it the
it's the Intel.
Mac? The Intel. Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't say any of that stuff. It might. I wouldn't say it will work.
Well, as far as the functionality, it's just a USB connection, so I'm assuming the functionality would work. It's
Yeah,
Mac
assuming
Mini 20 or 3.6 gigahertz Intel Core i3.
yeah, the size may be different. I think it is. So the docking station, depending where you want to put that docking station and how it connects. I think, to be honest, what you were getting ready to pay for the MacBook Pro, you could get the Mini and a really nice brand new docking station that's built specifically for the M4, and Bob's your uncle. At that point, I think you could get away with a pretty good, with a pretty good. Don't buy into the Apple Intelligence stuff. It's not very good on the Mac, right? It's still, I've never used it once since it's come out on the Mini. It's just not very good. They may get better with it,
What would
but
you
as
use it
far as
for?
it's supposed to be it's their version of AI, right? So
So it
it's
functions the same as like ChatGPT or the others.
supposed to, yeah. It's not even close. I would. Justin says in the chat that since obviously I didn't prep for this part, but the M4 is smaller than the old ones. So yeah, Brian says if you're going from the Intel to Apple Silicon M4,
Right.
blown away. I would agree. I don't get too crazy about this stuff sometimes, but technically going from the M1 to the M4 was a pretty good upgrade. Like,
I used to get so far into all of this,
yeah,
but now I just want what works and what's going to be stable.
yeah,
And this, like I said, has been working fantastic. It still runs the old version of Pro Tools, which is what I'm using here at the house. So for me, it's been great. But I am noticing limitations. And I also noticed some of my plugins went offline the other day. They said, nope, we've had enough.
yeah. Like, nix the Bonhoff. Let's not
Right.
do this anymore. I do have the 32 gig version here, so I that's what I'd recommend for what you're doing. You'll just future proof it. It should last a super long time. Now, that being said, if Apple releases a new architecture that's an M6, let's say,
Right.
I'll probably trade this one in. I mean, I traded my M1 in, got, I don't know, $300 or $400, whatever, and then bought this one. Yeah, $1,200 maybe for the out the door, something like that for it.
So when I trade this one in, you're saying I should get at least $1,000 for it.
Oh, well, no. I don't even know if they'll
No?
take it. That's
No,
interesting.
they're not going to. I
Yeah,
mean, I'd be
yeah.
surprised if they took this one.
You never know with Apple, to be
Well,
honest with you. You should
they'll,
try
they'll
it. You
probably
should,
take it, but
yeah.
for a
It's going to
very
be like
small,
$50, $5, something like that. Yeah.
where I
When
could just give it to one
they're
of my
taking
kids.
any money for it, they're making plenty of money off the ones they're selling, right? That are in there. So yeah, I think I think that'd be my recommendation is 32 gig terabyte. I like you could get away with the half a terabyte, right? 512, right? And 512 gig on that. The operating system takes half of it, so that leaves about 200 gig left. And I offload everything to the Unraid box. And I'm really careful not to keep anything on the box, and I've never ever had a problem. So
Yeah.
if you're shuffling it, you could save a little bit of money and just go 512. Honestly, I think I'd go terabyte
Yeah.
for you. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But like you said, I don't keep a single file. There's not a single file other than, software that gets installed.
Yeah, you would have more than enough. If at the terabyte, you'd have more than enough. More than enough. 3/4 of it, you'll have you'll have 750 gig available to you. Mac OS takes about 250. The crazy thing about the Mac OS that I haven't seen, or that I've always seen with Windows, is the Mac OS doesn't grow over time. Like Windows grows. It just like like all our waistlines as we get older, it just keeps growing.
Don't go there because mine is growing for sure.
I just had a physical yesterday and I was like, oh go yikes. But I just have not experienced the bloat on the Mac side of things.
I've been
looking at
Mac for a long time.
yeah.
I used to build PCs, but I've been Mac at least since I started working in Nashville.
Yeah. No, it's a great audio processor. It does great video work. I mean, why wouldn't you?
All of the pro studios in Nashville, they used Macs and they used Pro Tools. So that's why I went with Mac and Pro Tools to start. Other people I worked with at the beginning chose a different audio software and they were working on PCs. And they still do, but they don't work in the professional realm. They don't work in the big studios. They're working in project studios.
Right.
And I think that's where you see the difference between those computers and the operating systems.
Yeah.
So I like the Mac. I like the stuff in the bigger studios. And I've grown used to Pro Tools. It used to be very proprietary where you had to use their hardware and everything along with it.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you. I may not build another Windows computer. Like I've got this newest one that I built a couple years ago. And, I'm kind of like, this thing will probably last a while.
Right.
It's got the TPM 2.0. It's got plenty of hardware. Windows 11 runs great on it. I'm anticipating, the question for me, Jay, is I've got two older computers, one running Open Media Vault and one running Unraid, which are my NAS devices. How long do those last? That's the question. Like, how long, till I see those are a little long in the tooth, so to speak, when, I have a Core i3 box 530. That's the first gen Core i3 that I'm running. No, that's not true anymore. I am running a box that's got the first gen Core i3. The Unraid's running on an i7, but it's still a decade old, and you're like, well, how long is this stuff going to last?
And that's why you need to keep buying the new higher end ones. So you have the lower end ones that you can keep passing down.
You move.
That's what I tell the wife. We're just passing them down.
They're just passing down. Yeah. Someday this Ryzen box that I have with 120 gig of RAM, it's going to make a great Unraid server, and you'll be like, oh, you could run a ton of stuff on it. I run VMs on it today for some stuff and things.
Well, at the office, they give us Dell laptops, and mine's got to be ancient, but it still runs. It still does everything it's supposed to do. Everybody complains that, oh, my computer's old. It's like, yeah, it's old, but it's doing everything it needs to do.
They really do. They kind of really do. The one exception, Jay, I've seen to that is in laptops, where some of the older laptops, they just get to a point and they just crap. Like, they're good until they're not. And then there's something one day they just give up the ghost on something and you're like, oh, this isn't going to work anymore. I had an old Core i5, which it should have worked, had 16 gigs of RAM in it, should have been fine. But I tried running Zoom on it for some things, and no matter what I did, couldn't run Zoom and anything else at the same time. Like, it was not, it was one of those kinds of things. And you're just like, yeah, I don't, so they're good till they're not on the laptop side of things. I think because they try to jam so much into that little space and they use, mobile processors and some of those kinds of things. I think we're going to see a departure from that with Mac, like the M4 architecture, where everything is kind of, I don't want to say it's system on a chip because that's the wrong thing, but everything is unified, right? It's all unified together. I think you're going to see those last a lot longer than the Intel based stuff. And, I think the crazy thing is, I think we're going to get to a point where you're like wishing it dies so you can get something new.
I want a new one.
I want a new one. This thing just keeps working. Justin out in chat says the Ugreen, we're talking about NAS devices, Ugreen, which has come on here in the last couple years. If you guys remember, if you've been listening for a long time, I had a Ugreen solar generator that didn't work. I had to send it back. Ended up picking up the Blue Eddy AC 180. I'm going to talk a little bit. I got a new one coming. I'll talk about that here in just a second. But Ugreen's kind of coming on in the NAS space and looking like, listen, a Ugreen NAS is basically a PC with their hardware designed to look like a NAS. So they have some interesting things coming on board. Well, good, Jay, good luck on as you make this purchase. Like I said, I think you'll be, with what you're doing, you'll be more than happy with the Mini. Use that extra money to upgrade, and then use it also to get a new docking station. Get a new one. I wouldn't try to make the old ones work. There's some really good.
Well, I think I have a way out.
Really good. Okay.
Because my wife says my daughters, 3 of them, but my daughters, the oldest one is in high school, and she's in one of those schools where they do high school and college at the same time. Oh, wow. So she's taking her first college classes this year. Okay. And my wife's like, they assign the kids the notebook computers. Yeah. And so she's been getting those, but this year she's been using her iPad. And my wife's like, why don't we just buy her a laptop? And I'm like, that might be. I get the new laptop and she can have the current laptop. Yeah. So
would you buy an Apple laptop?
Hands down.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hands down.
Okay. All right. That's going to be like, okay.
Yeah. I've had the MacBook Pro for years.
Yeah. I would not right now. I don't have any good reasons to buy a Windows laptop. Like, I just can't think of any good reasons why I would want to. I get issued the ones at work. I get issued, and we're starting to do we're not getting choices yet, but we may be getting to that point where they're like, you want a Mac or you want a PC? And there's nothing on the PC side that's exciting me about. I mean, I guess if I could get an AMD laptop, Intel is I almost said that. Intel is a mess right now, right? And I don't know. You're kind of like, maybe I'll just get a Mac.
What's funny is they've all been my clients in the past, and whichever client we switch to, all of a sudden the company is using nothing but their products. Yeah. So it's always written in the contract that you have to use our products.
Yeah. No, right on. Well, and we continue. I mean, we're a Windows shop, so a lot of the infrastructure is built around Windows. So the IT guys, they want to continue to run Windows boxes because they're easier with the tools they have to administrate them. And so, but we're getting better on the Mac side. I'll be honest, I use a browser. I don't doesn't matter to me anymore. I don't even look at the OS anymore.
You know what's funny?
Mac here, but Windows here, I don't care.
You mentioned that. I've been paying for Microsoft Office, $10 a month forever.
Yeah.
And when I upgraded my laptop, I didn't reinstall Office because it took up a lot of memory, and the laptop just doesn't have that much memory left on it. So I left it off to see if I could get away with using Apple's version. And I've been using Apple's version, that Office suite, and it's been working just fine. But when it came time to do the book, I was like, all the books and everything I have, it's all been done on Word, and all the pre stuff was done on Word. So I said, all right, I'll go ahead and reinstall it. So I did. I reinstalled it, and it wasn't working properly, where I couldn't open up the old files. I couldn't use any of the old format. So I just finally said, screw it. And I used the Mac version, and it worked perfect. So I just used it for the whole thing.
Yeah. I think Pages just automatically now converts to a Word format. Yeah. I think they're all fine. The Office 365 subscription, though, will get you a Mac version of it as well. That should work well on old hardware.
Well, that's what I'm using.
Yeah, maybe not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It
on
works
my
great.
computer. It
It
works.
works
It
great
just
on the M4.
yeah.
Word works great. So does Excel on the M4. They work
Yeah,
great.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
Apple
Excel it
Silicon.
probably flies.
Yeah, well, and the other thing you're facing is you're not on Apple Silicon, and everything's changed over to Apple Silicon, right? From a programming, from a application standpoint, they're not developing. Microsoft's not developing that version anymore for anything except Apple Silicon. So you've got to be careful there. Um, Brian says out in chat, he says he's been pretty um, pretty impressed with Apple's productivity software, and I think the interoperability, maybe if that's the right word. Um, by the way, the the Russells is gone. The I think they've figured all this out of making these things all work together. I do see some problems in between notes. No, that's not the right numbers in Excel. Some of the macros in Excel don't necessarily translate to numbers in some of the work we do. But I think for the most part, I don't know, Jay, I think we're kind of beyond, for most people, we're kind of beyond that for listen, we all use Excel. I mean, Excel is certainly giant, but, and I guess maybe Word has is embedded, right? From everybody uses Word. But some of those alternatives, whether it's Libra or Pages, I think they've all kind of figured out they've got to be Word compatible. Right. So
Yep.
I'm sure there's exceptions, but well, keep us posted on when you pull the trigger on that thing. I think you'll be more than happy with the Mac Mini. Jay, did you build the fire pit? Did that ever get built?
I hate you.
the
I hate you.
the AI. I was using Grok today. I was talking. By the way, John Biggs said to me, "You got to try Grok." We had the Copilot instance join me as a co-host here. He's like, "You got to try Grok," and I haven't listened. With all the things that have been going on, I haven't been the biggest X Twitter fans and a fan, but I tried Grok over the last couple days, and I asked it about you, and I said, "Hey, I'm having Jay Franze," and although it didn't tell me you were writing a new book, so maybe it doesn't have all the latest information, right? But I said, "What should we talk about?" And it said, "You should talk about the gazebo fire pit that Jay is going to build in his backyard." Did you ever get that done?
Not done, sir.
Okay.
However, progress. And I can tell you about my accidental progress.
Oh, okay. I like this.
Accidental.
I like it. Okay.
All right. So, what we have done so far this year, we're trying to make gradual progress with the outside of the house. The inside is getting there. This room was done for me. My wife has a room for herself. And we put hardwood floors throughout the house. We've done everything but the bathrooms and the kitchen. So, but as far as the outside goes, none of that's happening because my wife's like, well, we need the bathroom and the kitchen. So why spend the money on the outside stuff? But to me, curb appeal means something. I want to come home to a house that looks decent.
Right.
So I want some mulch in the front yard and all that. So we did that. I, learned this little trick, put some mulch down, starting to look nice. My wife painted the mailbox, painted the front door, painted the front of the house. Everything is starting to take shape from the front.
Yeah.
Now I still got to do some stuff in the back, but what my wife did, I mentioned I have 3 kids, one of them being a 3-year-old. So my wife bought a swimming pool for the 3-year-old, a little blow-up swimming pool.
Yeah.
So she put it in the backyard, filled it up.
You're going to get
Life
1
was
year
good.
out of that, by the way. It will
Oh yeah, no,
never.
it's
It
probably
doesn't
done already.
survive
Probably
the
hasn't even made the
winter.
year. No doubt, hasn't even made the year.
Yeah.
However,
things,
what it has done is killed the grass in a perfect circle,
Oh, for sure. Oh.
right where the fire pit goes.
Yes. That
So
is
now I have
awesome.
authorization for fire pit because we have to do something about the big giant crop circle in the back of our yard.
You do. That is great. Maybe that's a new strategy
There's
for
the incentive
gentlemen.
right there.
If you need a place for a fire pit, just suggest, hey, let's put a blow up pool in the
Let's
backyard.
get a pool for the kids.
Drag That's great. Drag it out to the spot where you want the fire pit. So the grass is dead. You haven't started building anything yet, have you?
No,
On
perfect
that? Okay,
circle. I mean, when I
good.
say perfect circle, it's a perfect
Yeah,
circle.
yeah.
And
Spray
perfect.
paint it now.
I did
Get
get
a can
the
of spray paint and spray paint it now so it stays. Yeah,
stays dead.
yeah.
Yep. And I did get the Adirondack chairs.
Oh,
Don't,
good.
so
Yeah.
we've been looking at the stone. We went down the other day. We started picking out the stone and everything we
Oh,
want to
good.
use
Good.
to assemble the pit itself.
Yeah.
The only thing we haven't talked about is putting a gazebo up.
Okay.
Because we live on a lake and we're afraid that the gazebo would obstruct the view of the lake.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
good. It's a good thought.
my wife
It's a
wants
good
to put a
thought.
fence up. Oh, a new piece of technology we got that we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
We have a new dog.
Oh.
And I say
Okay.
technology because the dog is for my daughter. It's a service dog, or it's going to be a service dog.
Okay. Okay.
So it is in training the most expensive pet ever, by the way. I mean,
You could have bought a robot from Boston Dynamics
easily.
cheaper than this stuff.
Easily. This thing, when it's all said and done after the training, it's $35,000.
Oh, Jay.
So 5,000 was the dog.
Ooh, yeah.
The rest is training.
Wow.
It's 2 years worth of training.
Okay. But
So
she
this thing better be.
needs it. You're getting she has needs that you special needs.
Yeah, she
right?
does. And I mean, it's not a sympathy thing. My daughter has what's called FND, which is just a neurological thing that causes her to pass out from time to time, or
Yeah.
have seizures, or
Yeah.
go paralyzed.
Yeah.
So when those things
Yeah.
happen, the dog is supposed to sense them,
Yep.
catch her, keep her from hitting the floor,
Yeah.
sit by her.
Yeah.
They last 5 or so minutes, and then she's back. It's like it never happened when it's over. It's a very strange thing.
Yeah.
We're still getting used to it. But we did get the dog, and the reason I mentioned that, my wife wanted to put a fence in the backyard for the dog. And it's like, we can't do that. We'd be the only house on the lake that has a fence. It would be wrong. And you can't see and you wouldn't be able to see the water. It's like, no, we can't do it. So, but we can put a fire pit.
Yeah. What about, well, it's a dog. I mean, this is a pretty well-trained dog that doesn't probably need a fence, I would imagine, if it's outside.
Yeah, the dog is very good. It doesn't run.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
bark at people.
No.
It doesn't do
No.
anything.
Yeah.
But it's
I think
huge.
you're
It's
right.
like a horse.
Yeah, I think you're right. The fire pit's a lot lower. Your gazebo, there's some things you could do with umbrellas when you're out there if you want to shade yourself, right, in those situations. Or instead of a full gazebo, you could kind of do a half, I'm sure, depending upon where it sits in its direction, you could go with like a half shelter that is see-through, where you could put, you could cover it when you need to, when you're out there, kind of deal, or something along those lines. So
I envision sitting there at night.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We go out, we go out as the sun's going down. So in the winter, it's different because it gets so dark so early, right? But in the fall, when you're really out doing fire pits, we find that, the sun's still kind of going down. Now, I don't care about that. In the fall, you don't care. Like the sun's actually kind of nice, so you probably don't need to worry about that. On the deck in the summer, we need to block the sun because it's just blaring in on you. And so I've just purchased some 8x6 shades that we can quickly. I have some quick. They're like bungee cords, but they have a little ball on the end, so you can wrap it through the hole and then quickly just connect it. It's great. I don't know what those are called, but those are awesome. And I have 2 of those, and we just string them along the side that faces to the west, blocks out the sun. We're in Bob's your uncle, and we're in pretty good shape at that point. And then I bought a cantilever or a big 11 by 13 cover that you just crank it out and bring it out. And actually, it's interesting when you get on the deck and you get it enclosed with the shades on the side and the thing over the top. I can set that up in 5 minutes. That's what's just crazy about that, right? It feels nice. Feels the being enclosed. It kind of feels good in there. And then of course, I put a TV with I took a Visa mount and put it on the back of the TV, and then I have I've got a pole out there that is just designed for that. So I can just take the TV out, set it down. I could leave it out there. It's just not going to last as long. But I
Yeah,
could
my
leave it out
neighbors
there.
have theirs as outdoors all year long.
Yeah, you could. You could in most cases. In the depths of winter here, an LED the LED screen's not going to last as long if you leave it out in 20 below. So we do bring it in. But that piece, and then I did some wiring on the deck, so all you got to do is just you slide it on the mount, plug it into there's a plug right where it's supposed to go in, turn it on, and we use a Bluetooth Bose speaker. It's great, out there. I think you'll find some good luck on getting. So you looked at stones. Are the stones on order? Are they coming in? You having somebody deliver them?
Well, yeah, I think I told you before that the backyard is not large. I mean, it's literally maybe 20 feet from the house to the water.
Yeah.
And that's because half of our yard is actually the water.
Yeah.
So we only get use of 20 feet at most. So the crop circle that's out there right now takes up a huge portion of the yard. And then we put the Adirondack chairs around it is going to extend that even a little further.
That's going to be great.
So when we went to buy the mulch, we went and looked at the acceptable stone that the wife would approve to go in the backyard. So, but now with the crop circle, with the yard coming along, going down and getting the mulch and the stuff that made the wife happy, I think the stone is in, putting the stone down and everything. I think we're on our way to having a fire pit for the fall.
Good. All right. Well, next time you're on, I want to see some pictures and some progress.
Next time
we've been talking about your fire pit for a while.
It's been a year.
It has been.
This time last year, I wanted that fire pit.
Well, Jay, I have
I'm working on wife time.
Full faith and confidence that you're going to get this. You're going to get this fire pit in. And
I'm glad you do.
I think you're going to get it done. Justin says, "Gotta love those Bose Revolve speakers," and you do. Listen, from an outdoor speaker standpoint, things that you can carry with you, man. Those Revolve. I think I have the Revolve 2 on it. Holy buckets, that's a great speaker. I mean, I don't know what kind of wizardry Bose is doing in their stuff.
They're amazing.
They are amazing. And I think that's a $250 or $300 speaker now. So it's not cheap. But Jay, I can't tell you how many times I've dropped that thing on the deck. Okay, it's the end of the night. We may or may not have been having adult beverages.
There may have been a drink involved.
The kids and I are pulling things in the house. We always put things down, put them away, those kinds of things each night, bring stuff in. That speaker has it's been knocked off the top of the deck 1,000 times. It's like, you hear it conk, 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 conk on the deck. You're like, oh, there's the speaker. Yep. And it's a champ. I wouldn't, man, that Revolve, that Bose Revolve, it's a champ.
When I lived in Boston, they weren't far from my house. Their actual facilities.
Yeah. I don't know what they do. I'm going to look this up here. Revolve 2.
It's all in their engineering.
Plus?
It's all in their engineering, the way they
right on.
The audio
bass
flow.
Is incredible. I take the thing in with me when we work out. I have a buddy and sometimes on Sundays we go in and work out in the stairwells at work. Nobody's there. And I take that speaker and put it at the bottom of the stairwell and just blast it, and it goes all the way up the stairwell. The bass on that thing is incredible. Yeah, they're like $220, so it's not terrible. It's not. I mean, that's still an expensive speaker.
Well, when you said that earlier, I was thinking to myself, it's amazing what we think is a lot of money and what we think is not, depending on what we're purchasing.
That's true.
Because we're talking about the computers earlier, and we're nickel and diming every decision we're making. And we're talking about a speaker for a fire pit. It's only $300.
I know.
Or we're talking about it, anything else.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, some of the stuff that we do is funny. Like some of the stuff I buy for my car or whatever, it's like, okay, do I need that? No, but it comes with it, right?
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah. No, you're 100% right. Okay. Let me give a quick solar update. So
yes,
folks have been following along on my solar journey here. So just in case you haven't, let me bring folks up to speed. So I have a couple eco-worthy 18-volt 100-watt solar panels. And I bought a bunch of wiring to make it all work. That's getting plugged into a Blue Eddy AC 180, which has been my UPS, to be honest. And the whole idea was maybe I get some solar power to augment the power during the day. You know, when the sun is up, there's things going on. I run about 500 watts of energy usage in my studio. And the goal was like, could I replace that 500 watts, at least during the day, with sunshine? Well, the Blue Eddy does not, what I thought had solar priority, it does not, which means once the battery's charged to 100%, it only pulls from the grid. So when you're running it and you have a load on it, it's pulling from the grid and from solar until the battery gets fully charged. And then to protect the battery, they shut off the solar charging and only pull from the grid. It's a pass through at that point, right? Protects the batteries. Otherwise, they're charging, uncharging, charging, uncharging. Doesn't the MPPT controller, it's not smart enough inside the Blue Eddy. So so that's where we ended it last in the testing that we have. I was really disappointed that I couldn't get both solar and grid power working at the same time. So I've picked up recently an EcoFlow, because they can do this. I picked up an EcoFlow Delta Delta 3, not the Pro, but the Delta 3. It's the same size as the Blue Eddy, 1024 watt hour battery, 18. Now it has a little bit 1800 watt inverter in it. The version I bought, I'm not sure. It says a 500 watt PV controller, so bringing in solar power up to 500 watts. But and I think it's $549 right now. I got it for $515, which was kind of nice. It will give me, and they have a way better app than Blue Eddy does, and so it'll give me for $500. It'll give me a really nice look at the EcoFlow solar generator system. Right now they're kind of the more popular one, right, on the solar generator side of things. And again, it'll give me some ability to do some testing. Over the last week, shortened all the cables. I bought a bunch of MC4 connector ends, and because I bought 90 feet of cable in 30-foot lengths that had ends on it. And unfortunately, MC4 connectors are not necessarily reusable by the way they're installed. You put a end on it, you crimp it, that's it. It's done. On there. You're cutting it off, right? You could probably reuse I need to find a place to buy there's a connector end, and then there's a cover that goes over the top of it. I need to find a place to buy those connectors so I can just reuse the plastic pieces, the actual connectors that go together. So that's on order. It should be here Monday. Should have a better experience with both bringing power in, using both power and both solar power and grid power at the same time. Justin says in chat, this was another reason to try the EcoFlow. By the way, not sponsored. I bought both the Blue Eddy and the EcoFlow I've bought. The EcoFlow has better home integration with a home assistant. So the Blue Eddy used to, but for whatever reason, on the Bluetooth side of things, they encrypted it so it wouldn't work with Home Assistant, and it only works in the app, both on Android and iPhone, which is okay. I mean, it's fine for what it does. It's going to give me some additional options. So once this comes in and I get that tested, I may have the opportunity to pick up then another 200 watt panels and build this thing out to a 400 watt grid, so to speak. And again, I mean, I don't plan on replacing. I'm not trying to build a whole home. I just wanted to get smarter about grid power, just so I could talk about it more.
I have questions.
Yeah, fire away. I like it.
Because I don't know if this would suit the purpose, but my wife, one of the approved items to purchase would be a camper. We have thousands of state parks around us.
Yeah.
So I do not want a camper. And if we did, she wants the one that would be pulled by a truck. I want the one that you would drive. I'm trying to get as little friction as possible. You want
Yeah.
to go someplace, you hop in and you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my thought, what I would like to do is buy like the Scooby Doo van.
Yeah.
The old
RV.
school RV, small, like
Yeah.
almost what could be used as a daily driver, but you would
Okay.
use it for camp purposes.
Okay.
And then rather driving to a state park and staying in a cabin or whatever they have there, park this in their campsite and stay there.
Yeah.
But the power, like you're talking about the power.
Yeah.
So is that something that I could use for that purpose?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said you were buying solar panels. So the solar panels are to charge that generator.
Mm-hmm.
So the generator is $550.
Yep.
Then how much are the solar panels to charge that generator?
Yeah, it depends on how big they are, but they can be, anywhere from 250 to another 500 for the panels, depending on how big you
So
get.
let's say you're talking about $1,000.
Yeah.
How long would it take to charge that generator?
So that generator will charge, let me look here. I think with the panels, 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours.
And then how long does it last?
Full solar. Well, it's 1,000 watt hours. So if you had a 100 watt light bulb or device of some kind, it would last for 10 hours. That's a gross oversimplification, but
Right.
that's, it kind of, that's the kind of, it probably be more like 9, but let's just say 10 hours. So you get 10 hours out of 100 watts.
So then a laptop or something like that.
Depends. Well, the average laptop runs around 100, maybe to 100, 125 when it's in full use.
That's it.
Right. Yeah. They're not terribly. You can get ones that run more, but my Lenovo has a 135 watt box on it. It probably runs less than that, just to be honest.
So you're talking about 7 hours.
Yeah. If at full speed.
So
Most
if you're
of the time
watching
you're not
a movie
using,
or something.
Yeah, not even that, to be honest with you, right? I mean, you're probably the average laptop is probably gonna last a full, if you were gonna bring it off of this thing by itself, most of the day, 12 hours. You probably get 12 hours out of that, depending on the laptop, depending on the usage.
And then the laptop be fully charged at that point too, and then that goes for another
No,
hour.
for sure. Yeah, no, you go for another right. Yeah, you go for another right. Yeah, that's the kind of the way that works. In the RV world, right, what matters is the fridge, right? Everybody's got a DC. You buy a DC fridge, and then that plugs into something like this. And so, yeah, the question is always, how long does that fridge last? Depends on the fridge. Depends on some of those kinds of things. But yeah,
See, I'm again way simple.
Yeah.
Scooby Doo van, no fridge.
Okay.
Scooby Doo van might throw a cooler.
Yeah.
I want simplicity. Show up. I don't want to pack. I don't want to do any of those things. She's a prepper. I mean, she wants to, plan out the food for the days or whatever. I just want to wake up one morning and say, "Hey, you want to go to the campsite for the night?"
Yeah. They have, like, right now, they've got a version of this, the EcoFlow Delta 3. It's got comes with a 160 watt solar panel. And so, assuming you're not going to get a full 160 out of that, right? You're going to get 120, let's say. So in 10 hours, it would charge that, in theory, right? In 10 hours, you'd have to have perfect sun and some of those kinds of things. That's $800, right? And then you could, I think they've got for $850. You're talking about a 220 watt bifacial, which means it can charge on both sides, which is kind of cool. Charge on the front, and then any reflection coming from the back will pick it up.
Well, I got a question then.
Yeah.
So if you're charging this and it takes that long to charge something, is this the type of thing that you can leave unattended someplace?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So it's not the
Yep.
type of thing that walks away.
No. Nope. Set it up, plug it in. You could even, you could put the panel outside of the RV and put the charger on the inside and lock it. There's things you can buy to connect it
Right.
through. Yeah. No, you could kind of set it. The other thing you can do, I mean, this thing will charge on a 110 outlet. Will charge in an hour. So you could charge it. You could take it somewhere.
Right.
Charge it up.
Hey, you want to go to McDonald's?
Yeah. Right. Carry your solar charger. There we go. Hey, do you guys
But
have
most
110
most
outlets?
campgrounds have charging stations
They
for
do.
cell phones and stuff.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I mean that's the
Yeah, they
beauty part about living around here is all of the campgrounds. It's insane. And to be fair, even the cabins that we stay in are not expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it makes a nice. I think having one of these for $500, like this is they used to be 1,000. They're now $500, right? I think the beauty of these is it gives you options when you're camping. When you're out camping. I think personally, I would never for home use. Now that I've done this, I would never have a UPS that's lead acid batteries. Like that's insane. Why would you put up with, for now it's double the price. The average UPS is probably, let's say it's $150. So it's 3 times the price, right?
I'm looking down on mine trying to figure out what it is.
Your APC, if it's an APC or whatever, it's lead
It's
acid,
the old school.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll last like 7 minutes if your battery goes out. It's 7 to 10 minutes, right?
Long enough to shut it down.
That's what it was designed for. So no shade there, so to speak, because that's what it was designed for. But this here in my situation, I'm running probably 3 times more equipment than the average person would. And if we lost power right now, I could finish this podcast and you would never even know that thing. The lights might flicker for a moment,
right,
and then you would never even know. For an hour, I'd be good for an hour. I could finish this out. It would be just fine. So I'm a big fan of the upgrade for home use. Now the I bought the Blue Eddy AC 180. They now have the AC 200 upgrade V2, more solar input, a little bit longer. Like these things just keep getting better, right? From that perspective. Do you have to go that large? No, you could probably get away with these are 1,000 watt hour batteries. You could probably get away with a 700 watt hour, or maybe even a 500 watt hour battery. That's like $300. If somebody had one computer,
and is it like a true 50% time? Like instead of getting 10 hours, you get 5 hours.
What do you mean? I don't.
For the lasting of.
How long it lasts? It just depends on the load, right? It just really depends on what you're putting on it. So if you got a 500 watt hour battery, that means you can get 500 watts for an hour. So if it's 250, then you get 2 hours. If it's 125, you get 4 hours, right? Kind of deal. So you kind of just do the math. It's a little more complicated than that, but that's pretty close, right? From that standpoint.
The thing that my UPC has here is a power conditioner. So for the musical equipment I run, it has to stay at 120 all the time.
You're at a pure sine. All these are pure sine. No, I shouldn't say all of them. Most of them pure sine wave. You're fine. Like it's DC, so the inverters are built. I mean, they're pretty expensive inverters that are most of it's inverters, right? And they're pure sine wave. So yeah, you're fine from that aspect. Justin out in chat says he's got some good comments. Higher wattage single facial, which means just on the front side, right, can be mounted on top of the camper, and that's totally true. Erin was talking about that a couple weeks ago when she was here. I mentioned a bifacial. Those are really good if you're going to be ground mounted,
right,
outside, right, because they can pick up some of that. You can put something reflective behind them and make it work that way. But you don't need to do bifacial if you're going to mount it on top of the camper. You could do that as well. Nobody's going to get to it up there. The nice thing is they have some portable ones they're they're foldable, so you can put them
That's
away
what I've
when you're
seen.
camping. Yeah, you can pull them out, put them on a picnic table. And then you can get them exactly pointed towards the sun. You can even look up on your phone your location and say what's the right degree to have this at, and then you can set those at the right degree and kind of point. Yeah, it's crazy.
Nice.
It is crazy. He
I
does.
see.
Justin goes on to say there's now new 500-watt panels in a single unit, and that's true. They're pretty big. That are at least new, open box, left over from projects from 440-watt panels that are about 100. And this is Australian dollars. Yeah, I mean, and we're far along now, Jay, in the solar experience where you can get used solar panels that are 80% now, so they're not going to be full. Like you're not going to get full out of them, or they're left over from projects or whatever. They're trying to get rid of them. And somebody sent me an email. I forget your name already, so I apologize for that if you're listening. But I talked about solar panels at 50 cents a watt, right? That's what I'm buying at, basically 50 cents a watt. That's actually the most, that's pretty expensive. $1 a watt, if you just go to Amazon, that's easy. $1 a watt, it's pretty easy. 50 cents a watt when they're on sale, but you can get them at 20 or 30 cents a watt. So it's not a bad. Now the hard part is you got to find them, and oftentimes they don't deliver. They're local. You got to go pick them up. Those kinds of things, right? But there
Huh.
are less ways to do this. But yeah, on the camper side of things,
That might be the key.
yeah, at least you always have power.
Right.
No matter what, you can always run a light, charge the phones.
Run the air condition.
Well, you can't.
Window
No,
mount.
you can. You can. Yeah, you can. No, actually, in some of these spaces now, in these small spaces, the air conditioners have gotten really efficient, and so you can get away. I mean, this is like you
It's
can get
no
away.
longer camping.
It's no, you're glamping. You are glamping for sure, right?
Oh dear God.
When you're um yeah.
What?
So Justin says, I love this. He says, if you didn't hear your wallet scream when you bought it, it's lead acid for sure. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I know for sure.
Justin, what part of Australia you from?
We'll let him chime in on that. So that's for me, that's the EcoFlow generator will be in the Delta 3, will be in not Pro, but the Delta 3. Will be in. It doesn't have the Delta Pros have 30 amp plugs on them, or the Delta 3s just have 110 and 20 amps. I think maybe is the most. Maybe it's 15. It's very very
What would
possible.
be the purpose for having the others?
Running like for whole home backup.
Oh,
If you wanted to run smaller air conditioners, a home air conditioner is like 240. You're going to need some juice to get that thing going, and you want to make sure the
you're
amps are
talking
rated
like
appropriately.
a true traditional window unit.
True, yeah, a big one. Or no, I'm talking about the outside ones that run.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Window units in the most case are 110 and they're 20 amps, so you can run that off anything for the most part.
Okay.
Now, anything new. And then there's a whole line of window air conditioners that are coming out that are hybrid, kind of efficient, super efficient. And those might run. I think the Shed runs at 500 watts, which not terrible. That's startup. Like, so that may not be true. That may be more like 1,000 startup and then 500. I have to measure that. Justin says, hold on, let me bring Justin's comment in here. He says, Mornington Peninsula, Victoria, Melbourne. It's near city, most welcome. No,
I only ask because I went to school in Queensland, the University of Queensland.
Oh, nice.
Now, I did it online, so please don't assume I went to
Here in
Australia.
The US. You did not
However,
travel. You did not travel.
Yes, but it was in Queensland. The exact opposite side of the country.
Yeah, right on. Right on. We're getting better. Some of these mini splits that are available now. You have an outdoor unit, run it in through true DI. If you're thinking about cooling down a single room or even a single large room, for about $1,500, you can get a Mr. Cool mini split. So it's got a unit that goes outside, punch a hole about 4 inches through your wall, send the thing through, spray foam it in, and then put it on your wall. It's a 4-hour install, maybe not even that. You're up and running. You can plug it in, or some of them are solar. You can run them half off solar and half off grid
So
power.
those are the ones I see that are like kind of vertical, just mounted
to the wall. Yeah, those are the mini splits. So, and those are those have gotten really efficient. So we're in the golden age of cooling. Like, there's never been more great ways
So
to
I
stay.
just changed that one in my house here. So it was hefty, but I got a pretty good deal.
Yeah. And it's probably 35 or 40% more efficient than your old one.
I hope so.
Yeah. For the price, you'll never make that money back up. Just to be clear, you'll never make it back up. But it's all good on that.
Well, dude, I got a pretty good deal. I don't know why the guy gave me such a good deal. The guy came to the house. I had like 3 people come out for quotes, and I had insurance, so they were going to pay for a piece of it. So they sent 3 people out for quotes, and they were all like 14 grand. And then the last guy who came out, he's like, "Well, how much were your other quotes?" And I handed it to him, and they're quoting inside and outside, and they were 7 grand each. And he just saw the 7 grand and said, "I can do it for 7." I said, "Okay, sold."
Yeah.
And he did it for 7, inside and out.
That's crazy.
Same unit.
That's crazy. That is crazy. You probably got you probably didn't get the most efficient outside
Probably got the
unit.
guy who was pissed off at his company or something.
Yeah. Well, there's good money in that for sure. I was fortunate. We had our air conditioner done 3 years ago before all the prices started skyrocketing on that. And we didn't, we did not, the air conditioner I got, my HVAC guy's old school. I asked him about, like, hey, do you put in these new, these new thermostats, like a Nest? He's like, no, I hate those things. All they do is produce calls for help. He's like, nope, you're going to get an old school, and we have an old school programmable, which is just fine. I was like, okay, that's fine. And then I said, will there be like Wi-Fi access to the thing? And he's like, no. He's like, not in a million years, for what he was selling me anyways. Some of the things you buy now, you can get hot water heaters that have, Wi-Fi built into water heaters.
That's a whole nother episode. I need a hot water heater. So
yeah, I just replaced mine last year, and we did a kitchen and bathroom remodel, and it was like, well, might as well replace the water heater. Of course, it's hot. I always say hot water heater,
right.
and you're like, do you need to say hot? Isn't that
It's like my wife says ink pen all the time.
What does she say?
Ink pen?
Ink pen for the heater? For the water?
No, for a pen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, you're like, doesn't pen mean ink?
It's ink. Got it. You don't say lead. Well, I guess some people do say lead pencil. I don't know.
We did a 50-gallon, and I immediately saw our water usage shoot up. By the way, I was like, oh, a little more. We got a little more. No, it wasn't the water usage. It was the gas. It's a gas-fired hot water heater. And
I don't know. Ours is,
our gas bill went up.
Knock on wood or anything here, but ours, it isn't broken, but it's old. Like, very old.
Yeah, you should just get it replaced. It's a good, and right now with the prices of things, sooner is probably better than later. So, and you can you can get a home automated hot water. Sorry,
you
can get a water heater. Yeah, or you can just go old school and get the water heaters that's what we did. We just got a basic one. Huh? No. Sarah's like, is a shoe? Why are you guys talking about water heaters on Home Gadget Geeks? Say it again. What? Oh, she wants to start the dryer. All right, Jay, anything,
Sir.
what's coming up on your show? Anything folks should be, you got any big guests coming up on your show?
We do have some guests coming up on the show. We've just, like I said, we had Billy Joe Jones just recently. That was a very good experience. She's a very nice girl. She's on a new TV show called The Road. It starts in October, so it would be worth checking out. Like I mentioned, she's been on American Idol. She's been on The Voice. Now she's going to be on The Road, and this is run by Blake Shelton and Keith Urban. So it's going to be a good show. It's going to be something to look forward to. So for right now, that's the one I'm most excited about seeing. But we also had Trey Calloway on recently, another great up and coming artist. He's got a very Garth Brooks sound to him. And then is when we talk about the ones that are big and that we've known. Big one we've had recently that's just ongoing, comes back and very nice to us, is William Lee Golden from the Oak Ridge Boys.
Oh, nice. It is nice to have those guests, like Aaron for me, who they like being on the show, and so they keep coming back. Sounds like that's a guest for you.
Yeah, no, we have a few of those. That's nice. So Billy Joe Jones has been on 3 times. Trey Calloway's been on a handful of times, and William Lee Golden has been on a couple times now. So.
Nice. JayFranze.com. If you want to take a look at the book, that's the best way to buy it. Head out to JayFranze, FRANZE.com. If you want to check that out, and Jay, I'll have that available for you. Jay, congratulations again on the book.
Thank you, sir.
It's amazing. I'm always amazed folks get those things done. It's never going to happen in my lifetime. I don't want it to happen in my lifetime. I don't have the patience for that, but always appreciate it for folks who can and can put it in there. Thanks for coming on tonight and being a friend of the show. You always say yes when I ask you, and we always have a good conversation. So thanks for coming on tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, good to have you. Can you hang around while I close this thing up?
Absolutely.
Is that okay? All right. A couple reminders on the way out. If you want to join the Discord group, head out to theaverageguy.tv/Discord. Lots of great conversations going on there. It's not going to overwhelm your life. You can just jump in there, maybe 1 or 2 new threads a week. So if you want to join us in there, theaverageguy.tv/Discord. You can, then let me remind you, the averageguy.tv platform, both web and media hosting, powered by Maple Grove Partners. Get secure, reliable, high-speed hosting from people that you know and trust. That's Christian. Head out to maplegrovepartners.com. I think he's still doing $10 plans. Like, you can't find that price anywhere. And Christian's still doing it. I talked to him today. I think he's going to be on the show in 3 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. So you're going to want to keep listening. If you haven't joined us live, Thursday nights, most times 7 p.m. Central, most times 7 p.m. Central. No, it's my fault. I was not real clear. As I'm cutting over the guests, I need to make sure I'm clear about that going on. Next week, I'm off. I have a wedding that I'm going to. One of my best friends at work is getting married, and so I'll be spending some time that week wedding. Brian Friedlander is back on the 4th. And then 9/11 is the next week, and I just decided, you know what? I'm not going to podcast on 9/11. I know it's been a while, but I'm going to honor the day. And so we'll take 9/11 off, and then 9/18 I'm shooting for Christian, so we're hoping that he'll be back. He will be back then. We are live every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern, out at theaverageguy.tv/live. If you're listening to the podcast, love to have you come out and join us live. Big thanks to Brian, Justin. Ken was out here a little bit earlier. Schoonover was hanging out. Jim Shoemaker was in chat. Appreciate you guys coming and joining us live. And you could too. Just come on a Thursday night, theaverageguy.tv/live. You don't even need to know where to go. Just go to theaverageguy.tv/live. I post it there. You can watch us on the YouTube video that I've embedded there. We'll catch you back here in 2 weeks. For those listening live, thanks for coming out. For those on the podcast, thanks for listening. With that, we'll say goodbye, everybody. I tell you what, Jay, is your schedule pretty? Are you guys weekly pretty consistently, or do you take some time off?
No, we do weekly, if not twice a week. So we do.
Do you only release once a week? Do you bank some in case? No. Wow. Okay.
No, because the way it works for us is Monday night is where I do hour-long interviews, which hour and a half long
Yeah.
interviews, one-on-one, me with a guest. And then on Wednesday night is me and my co-host, which is Tiffany Mason.
Yeah.
And then we get on and talk about the news and, any reviews we have. And so
How'd you find Tiffany?
she is somebody from the podcast world. She had me on her show. She has a show called Memories with a Beat where people come on and discuss the memories that a song in their life bring up.
Yeah.
So I went on
Cool.
and talked about
Cool.
an artist called Von Ray. It's a old 90s rock band. And so she enjoyed it. And then I said, well, why don't you come back and come on my show and I'll bring the band or a member of the band on the show and we'll talk to them together and close the loop on your conversation. So she did, and people liked her, and she's bubbly and she outweighs my monotone stuff, and it works out. So we've just developed a relationship like each other. So I asked her if she wanted to
Nice.
come back every Wednesday.
Nice. Yeah.
And now
Nice.
she's even joining me on Mondays with some of the interviews and
Oh,
stuff.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
She's been drinking the Kool-Aid.
You gotta like it. You gotta like it. When you find a good co-host, they're worth everything. And when you find a good co-host, I'm saying this because I lost Uyghur. It's you got to hang on to him. Although I've figured out how to do this, solo, so to speak, and it's fine. It's fine that way. Works that way too. I tell you what, the AI co-hosts are coming along nicely. Like Grok, it's a little slow, but it's close, and it's by far the smartest one I've used yet. The Copilot's fast, but it's just dumber than a doornail. Like it hallucinates all the time.
I like
OpenAI has some weird sounds. It does this doo doo kind of thing when you go voice mode. So you're like, that sounds weird.
I like the graphics of OpenAI so far.
Oh, okay.
It's compared to all of them. Like I'll do a test when I'll create
Get to
something for the
that all
show.
you want.
I'll ask each one of them the same prompt to create an image, and OpenAI always does the better job.
Oh, it's good to know. You're using 5 now, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Listen, the image thing was a real gimmick when it started, right? And everybody was posting AI images, and then it's kind of settled down. I don't have any reason to create images for the most part.
No,
Are
we
you
do it.
using it for album art or?
No, we do it for novelty purposes.
Okay.
Like we wanted to have a caricature of us as hosts. So we took the shot of the two of us from our website and turned it into one using AI. But we used every model to try it, and OpenAI gave us the best result, and or at least the ones that was most like the picture and looked like what we expected it to look like.
Yeah. Cool.
So that worked out.
Yeah.
And then I've created some others too, and I've done some crazy things. Like I had a previous guest. He went out to see the Oak Ridge Boys, and now he lives on the West Coast, so he knows the Oak Ridge Boys have been on the show. That's how I met him. He came to the show that night and watched the episode. But he went to see them perform in, I think it was Washington State, and it was him and one of the members of the band that I'm friends with backstage, and they took a picture together. And he says, "The only thing missing here is you." So I just went to AI and put myself in the picture and sent it back to him. I said, "There you go. Your problem has now been solved." And it worked like a champ. It's just, it's funny to me how good some of this stuff is.
Yeah. We went through that phase, right, socially, where everybody was making pictures of themselves and stuff. And I feel like that's kind of died down. And it's gotten the crazy thing. It's gotten better. Like the early stuff was kind of cheesy.
You're missing fingers.
And now, or too many.
Or too many fingers.
You got 9 fingers. And then lately it's really good, but everybody's like, oh,
no, I love it. I'm using it more and more for anything I can think of.
Yeah. I use it a ton at work. Although early on there was some things I was doing where it was helping me, and then it got less and less helpful. And now it's not even same prompts, not working. So I got to figure out what I'm doing wrong.
Well, we talked about it in the past where, when I write something, I like to do a brain dump and then I analyze it and I critique
Right.
it and I look for grammar mistakes. And I fix everything. To me, to just be able to brain dump and then throw that into AI and say,
Yeah.
fix the grammar
Yeah.
or even just Grammarly, forget the AI models, just using Grammarly itself is a blessing to me.
Yeah. Well, I've got to do quick response type work, typing wise, and I'm terrible at it. And Grammarly, I mean, it's changing me. It's changing the way I
Right.
say it as I'm writing it. Like
Yep.
it's like, yeah.
It's
And you get done, you're
fantastic.
like, yeah, that's the way to say it. In fact, so much so that we were reviewing our Grammarly contract, and I got the call from the sysadmin who runs our Grammarly contract, and he was like, "You're the number one user of Grammarly in our company." I was like, "Oh, that's good to know." I was like,
Oh,
"Okay, all
I
right,
love
yeah."
it.
So I use that out of it. Yeah,
I wouldn't have been able to do the book without it. I mean, in the
yeah,
past,
yeah.
I'd go to editors and please help me, and they'd edit the books for me. This one, nope, I just used Grammarly and went along my way.
Yeah. 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 No, for sure. Hey, if you're listening live, thanks for coming out. We've got an hour and 50 minutes, and we did an hour before this. So thanks for coming out to hang out with us for this night. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. All right. Take care, everybody. Jay, hang tight for me. 1 second.